People were looking to this election for greater clarity on where economic policies will go, and here we are with greater uncertainty than before.
I think, yes, but in my view, probably if the PRPP will form a government, then I think the economic policy will be stable, in my view, because they already have the current government and by the current cabinet, they have the policy to implement like EEC and all those new law. So I believe that if PPRC together with the coalition government can form at least 250 members, then I believe that it will be stable for a while and see how the political landscape will be.
By PPRP, you mean the party linked to the junta.
Yes.
Now, you talked about stability. Stability is one. On
yes.
the other side, you need policies that
yes.
actually take the economy forward.
Correct.
And in the last 5 years, Thailand has lagged behind its peers in Southeast Asia. 3.9% growth projection for the year versus 5.2% for the rest of the region. So obviously, policies are not really conducive for growth.
But you can see a lot of the infrastructure project has been laid down. And for example, EEC, even though it's not really investor coming in yet, but you can see the infrastructure, the project, which I believe that they can continue those policy. And I hope that if that project, EEC project, infrastructure project, all those, the highway and so on and so forth, implement within this government, then I believe that GDP will be grow.
How much of a difference will that make to the economy? I mean, you're talking about the Eastern Economic Corridor.
Yes, right.
An investment of more than $50 billion into the economy,
right.
which has yet to
yes.
trickle through to the economy. What difference will it make? Can you quantify that for us?
Difficult to quantify, because if you look at that one, there will be, if they implement it, I think the problem is that how the money go to the grassroots. And with that project, even though they have the policy of the giving the cash to the poor, the poorest people, and that I believe that the money will pump into the system, and that's what I can see. They tried before, like the card that give the cash to the smart card to the about 11 million people. So that I believe. I think they will continue to do that together with the infrastructure. That's what I can see the growth in the GDP.
How confident are you about the Thai economy? Because some have talked about the debt level, which is now climbing to about 49% of GDP.
That's another worry about the debt, the family debt, and I think with this government, I think they will have a lot of some other coalition which can monitor this. I don't think they can just create the debt. I think they need to increase the revenue as well. And I believe that probably with some projection, with the new government, they try to tax more, in my view.
What can be adopted? What policies can be adopted
I think
to increase that taxation?
To increase the number of taxpayers probably is number one. I think they're going to if you can see that they're going to tax on those e-payment, e-commerce, that's one. And probably even though are not fully successful is the property tax, which come into play to next year. So they can collect some taxes to use in the domestic or local.
This election marks Thailand's return to democracy, and it paves the way
yes.
for relations to resume between Thailand and the U.S.
Yes.
How important is that?
I think that's important for the Thai government, but the Thai government already have the friend with the Chinese. So I think to establish or to resume the relationship with U.S. is also important. I can see that at the moment a big U.S. Investor is coming to start with the big project in Thailand. If we have a full democracy, I think that probably whereby the U.S. or the trade, all this weapon or whatever will become, and that's maybe for Thailand.
Prime Minister Prayut has shown that he's willing to gravitate more towards China.
Yeah.
Do you see that relationship growing even more? Do you see more contracts, for instance, in terms of infrastructure projects?
I think so. I think China play a major role there.
And the biggest risk for the Thai economy would be?
The biggest risk will be the debts that you mentioned. If the government cannot increase the revenue, that will be a problem. And with the what you call populist policy, whereby they can give something to the poor, that's also worry me.